Hey, are you a creative professional that teaches or coaches? And have you ever wondered why do you keep procrastinating? Why do you keep waiting to be ready? In this lesson, we're learning all about producing your content. This way you can get results, right? And start moving forward and stop getting stuck. Finally move forward, get that first thing out of the way, and then all sorts of really good things are gonna happen later. Let's get ready to have faster growth. Hey, I'm Angel from ArtsyCourseExperts.com, and we help creative professionals that teach with tech for their online courses, membership communities, and coaching websites. In this lesson, we're learning all about getting going, doing those first steps, and not getting stuck. Hey everyone, if you're building an online course, a coaching program, a membership community, some sort of creative business, you probably caught yourself saying, hey, I'm almost ready. I have this plan. I got to get all the things lined up. Maybe you're waiting for the perfect website, the perfect logo, the perfect social media strategy, or just content. And you keep telling yourself, once everything is all in place and it's looking good, then I'm going to launch. But that's really not how real growth works. Feeling completely ready is usually a myth. In fact, most creative founders, they accidentally slow themselves down because they believe that clarity comes before action. They got to figure it all out, come up with the master plan. But really, for most successful businesses, it's the other way around. It's the opposite. They start doing some action. Maybe it's not the perfect thing and they zigzag forward, but they're doing consistent, little, small, persistent action. And then they start figuring out their path all the way through. So that growth is gonna create clarity. That action is gonna really create the growth that you need, and then the clarity, and then each major milestone is gonna lead to other future phases. So as creative people, we care deeply about quality, and that's a good thing, right? Like the experience, the beauty, all that sort of stuff, the finished product, the lighting, whatever it is that you teach. Maybe it's fashion or an output on a 3D printer or some florist thing or something that you're cooking. These high standards are going to help you create amazing work. But also sometimes those standards turn into endless tweaking, and eventually perfection starts working its way against us. Maybe some of these challenges sound familiar. You keep redesigning your website, but you're not telling anybody about it, or you're not publishing it. Just hit the publish button, or start off with just a few pages. Or maybe you have a course idea, but you haven't launched it because it's not finished. Or maybe you got stuck with tech or something. Or you feel your brand logo isn't professional yet. Or people might judge you on that first version. You want some sort of confidence or certainty before you take that next step. And you keep saying, hey, I'm gonna get to that. But you got some blocker, right? It's just stuck in your head and it's not letting you move forward. Meanwhile, there's all these other things you could be doing as well, or just doing a first version of that one thing that you're stuck on. The funny thing is that most of the time, these brands that we like and we admire, they didn't look like what they do now, right? They were rough and raw and messy and simple. And eventually they got some stuff going and they had money and time and a team, and then they made stuff awesome. So again, if waiting is not the right answer, what is? Let's get into that. There's at least 3 key ideas here that can help you with understanding why moving before you fully feel ready can actually help your creative business grow faster. The first one is about real feedback, okay? Real feedback is more valuable than endless planning, right? You're gonna save money and time, and you're gonna find out, wow, I was thinking about it all wrong. I was fixated on this one thing. You don't wanna be making these important decisions, things that takes months to do or build and hard work based on guesses. So you might be an expert at your creative thing, but maybe you're like, I don't know which webinar thing to use or which mail platform to use, or should I use Kajabi or Thinkific or Teachable, or just go ahead and do some research, try something. Either way, you got to build the content. If you change the platform, at least you got your content later that you can move. That was the bulk of the work. So don't spend weeks or months, or even years trying to predict what people want. Just tweak the colors, create some content, record some videos, develop your resources, and get going. Why are you going to do all that work, try to do a mini course first instead of your master course, or a small little community, or a simple coaching program that you announce to your Facebook group or your LinkedIn group or whatever. Do that before you go ahead and invest months on something that you haven't even heard or you're not sure if it's going to work. Look, real feedback is going to beat imaginary feedback. So once your ideas exist, they become concrete. You got something on the paper, you got something to show, you got a template, you have a plan, a script. You start showing people, you can start practicing, right? Maybe before the course, you practice on social media, or before your community, you participate in other communities to see if people like your comments. Maybe you give some free coaching somehow, indirectly. Maybe it's a one-on-one or whatever, before you build out your full coaching page and set up your Calendly and all that stuff. So this could save us a lot of time, right? And a lot of what they call opportunity cost, right? Your money or time that you're spending on one thing, but really something else is the right path, but you're going to continue because you're not even sure. You're not getting that feedback. You're guessing. So go learn, go do some small actions and move forward. All right. As an example, maybe you're a sewing instructor and you're creating your first course. Instead of spending months building modules and worksheets and bonuses, you just launch maybe a 2-hour workshop first. And maybe it's free or maybe it's just low cost, but at least it's the same content that's going to be for your course later. And you're trying it out with real people. And maybe you're learning like, oh my gosh, everybody's struggling with fabric or how to put the thread on the needle, or everybody's asking for templates and checklists. And maybe you've been doing this a while, but you realize your audience needs the beginner stuff, like an actual beginner steps, and you just jumped ahead to intermediate and pro stuff. Those are good things to learn before you go and invest so much time and money. Now that you get all this information from that, maybe that little workshop or those YouTube videos or whatever, then you're like, okay, let me go build the right course with the things that they need. And that progress is going to give you a lot of great information, and you're going to make way better decisions, and you're going to invest your time better, and you're going to learn a whole bunch of things instead of waiting to be perfect. The second tip here is starting small reduces risk. So instead of going big, we're going to go small, take some baby steps, and we're going to get smarter for that big thing later, but we're not stuck. All right. So you don't have to build that ultimate version right away. These huge projects, they're going to feel overwhelming. They take more time, money, emotional energy, maybe a bigger team. Maybe you're going to have dependencies. You got to go create these videos. You got to go get this stuff, these resources, these components from other freelancers or vendors, or you got to make them yourself. That's why small experiments lead to bigger outcomes. So starting small gives you permission to test ideas without putting just all this pressure on yourself. It's like doing sketches instead of the final painting or the storyboard before you actually go and record video and make a movie, right? You want those sketches. You could reorder things really easily. You can cross them off with a pencil. It's just easy. It's just, that's what you want for whatever it is that you're about to teach, whatever it is that you're about to build. Well, let's just say you're a ballroom dance teacher, right? And you want to have a whole giant 12-week signature program to get any couple ready for their big dance competition, right? Cool. Instead of disappearing for months or more than a year to build everything, you're going to record all this stuff. Start off with a 90-minute workshop. Maybe even record one of your actual live teaching sessions. And then you could chop that up or reuse that or add slides to expand it out. So it's a bunch of little 5-minute clips from something you already did at your local dance studio, right? And then you're going to find out from that workshop, hey, what are the topics that people care about? Or what are the tricky ones that maybe should be 3 modules instead of 1 module? Maybe not now, but later. But you're going to learn that. You're going to learn that spin maneuver is actually really complicated. People are tripping. They're stepping on their partner's feet. You're going to learn about all that stuff just from a tiny little seminar and getting some feedback, getting some comments, and engaging with however you deliver this workshop, right? But you're going to learn, you're going to get that feedback. You're going to learn what are the right moves that everybody wants to learn. Maybe it's not just the basics. Maybe there's this one trending TikTok and everybody wants to learn that one super cool, even though it's ballroom, but it's not Spanish, but it's flamenco or whatever. But there's some stuff out there that these students want to really learn. And maybe you weren't exactly tuned in on that. You're just going from your side out, your fundamentals, but maybe there's demand from the other side, and that's going to help you identify your content or a little pivot on your core foundational knowledge, but you're just going to deliver it and giving those students exactly what they want. And by the way, that also means money. Maybe you're going to find out, hey, they really want this particular ability or moves. They need to learn how to do a certain dip or a certain synchronized movement. And then you're going to find out what they're willing to pay for. And look, once you get all that stuff, then you could go and create your big giant program or a couple of mini courses on these topical problems that you've just learned about. All right. So starting small, that doesn't mean that's the end thing. You're just making smarter, smaller bets. And it's a great use of your time and money. The third idea here is visibility creates opportunities. All right. Remember, people can't support the work that they don't even know it exists. They can't even try you out, let alone pay for your big giant program. So they want to learn about you, get out there, do stuff. Don't be stuck. Do some free stuff on social media. Do it on other people's platforms if that's how you're going to get started. You don't even have your own platform. Do that stuff. Get some feedback. I love it. Oh, that's so pretty. How do you do that? Whatever. Then you can go ahead and build out stuff. But waiting to build out your big plan and you're not even out there learning what people are vibing with or the words or getting that encouragement to go faster and get unstuck, right? You don't even need the finished masterpiece of what it is that you're going to teach. Just some of your own work from your years and years of experience and all your experiments, that could be shown to people. And that could create reactions. And that could then open your mind to, oh, wow, there is a market for this. People want to learn my creative craft. As an example, maybe you're a physical sculpture designer, right? You make stuff out of natural rocks, seashells, sticks, leaves, I don't know, all that sort of stuff. And you're waiting to have all these completed sculptures before you post online, before you build your course or your program or whatever. You don't have to. Other people, they're just sharing. Hey, it's not done, but here's what I'm building. Here's a sketch of what I'm trying to do. Here's my 3 steps so far. Here's how I had to build these special tools. The glue gun that I bought at Michael's, Joann's, Hobby Lobby or whatever, it has this limitation. So I had to modify it by building this thing where I went to Home Depot, Lowe's, I combined this wood and this metal frame I found, and I combined it with the glue gun. Wow, that's crazy valuable. And by the way, that's all stuff later. You could build a checklist or an instruction guide on how to build their own modified tools or templates. Those are all great experiments that could give you awesome feedback and encouragement and little bite-sized chunks that could also be used later in your various training programs. So instead of waiting until you have a complete collection to show and all this stuff, just get going. People are going to start paying attention. You're going to start having conversations. You can get a wait list built for your business. And then, that could lead to all sorts of things, not just students, but partners, collaborators, affiliate partners. They might want to link to you. Maybe it's just a blogger that's interested in your world and they just want to write an article on you or have you guest post or even show up on their podcast about something interesting that you're making. That's fantastic. So these people are going to start discovering you. This feedback is going to encourage you to do more or to redirect or to just keep building and leveraging what you have where you're at until you have that full-on curriculum and content. So anyways, this consistent action, getting out there, it's better than just waiting to have a complete solution. So let's summarize. Waiting until you're fully ready sounds responsible and, oh, that's what a real business does. But man, it could sometimes hurt from a procrastination, from a progress. You might quit because you never make it to that big list of all the tasks you got to do. So, but you're going to get confident by showing up, doing a little bit of action. We're not fearless. Yeah, we're creative. We're a little quirky. But look, that progress and everything we're going to learn from that progress, the feedback, the zigzags, the small money before big money, that's how you're going to grow your business. All right. It's not necessarily the idea. And by the way, you might not have the perfect idea in the beginning. Obviously, it's going to evolve or how you explain things or how you map your years of experience to what the world needs now. You're going to learn that by being out there and being visible and getting those little feedbacks and doing those smaller projects. So go ahead, build out that momentum. Stop waiting for the perfect sculpture, the perfect website, the perfect branding and the complete course and the whole giant ebook. Just get going, all right? So here's some takeaways. Feeling fully ready, that's a myth. You're not gonna probably ever feel fully ready, all right? Getting real feedback, that's way more valuable than guessing. And by the way, those exact words that people are giving you, that's gonna work into your testimonials, into your sales pages. So start collecting some of that stuff. Starting small is also gonna reduce risk. If something's not working out, then you pivot. You move on to something else. You're going to increase those little exposures. That's great. Visibility is going to create opportunities. It's going to give you new insights, progress and momentum and feedback. That's all going to give you great confidence. It's fantastic. It's lonely. Sometimes you're going to be a CEO and yeah, you'll have a team and they'll probably do what you want. And some of your friends and family might say, oh, it's awesome, but they might not give you the cleanest feedback. Getting that real feedback is going to be incredible. And the truth is, a lot of businesses, they're going to evolve. That idea is not what they ended up doing years later. So you need that feedback so that you can pivot, evolve, angle it, niche, and then finally just momentum. That's very important, and that feedback, okay? So look, you're a lot smarter now on how to overcome perfection with your creative training business. And let me just leave you with a little inspo. Go create that course, chop it down, chunk it down, publish what you got, a little mini portfolio, release a workshop, start small, send a proposal, just a little write-up. If you're stuck, use AI to help you write it or polish some little note to send a proposal. If you need to use AI to help you clean it up, doesn't have to be a big thing. It could just be a collab. I just spoke to somebody and sometimes you spend 20 plus minutes thinking about what am I going to say? And then I sent it and the person immediately said, hey, nice to meet you. Sounds cool. Yeah, hey, send me a Calendly for, you got time next week? Actually, he didn't say Calendly. He said, hey, sounds cool. I would love to meet and talk about this stuff. You got time next week? Wow. I spent a whole bunch of time procrastinating, thinking, doubting myself. When I finally just wrote a really brief 3 to 5 line email, within a half hour, the person wrote back. It's in our heads sometimes, guys. Hey, remember, sometimes the most successful people, they're not fearless. Maybe they're introverts. They got to practice on extroverts. Even when I'm doing here talking to you, I'd much prefer to be building cool systems. That's my happy place. Building cool systems, helping creators come to life with their vision. But I'm talking here and I'm getting more comfortable and we're connecting. You guys are giving me good feedback. And this is giving me ideas for other content I might create to help other creators build out their vision, care for their vision, grow their future business, their next phase of their life. So anyways, hey, start imperfectly. You're going to improve. You're going to learn. You're going to get feedback. You're going to grow, man. It's just climbing the mountain. All right. You got this. Good luck. Hey, if you're loving this stuff and want more smart ways to grow, listen up. Our team has guided and supported hundreds of creative professionals who've started different kinds of educational creative businesses, right? I'm a lifelong computer software engineer. I love learning. I'm a mega fan of the arts. And now I get to help creative teachers get unstuck and turn their vision into thriving online training businesses. Hey, to learn more, subscribe now to keep leveling up Or you can even check out more lessons by visiting www.artsycourseexperts.com. Hey, thanks for hanging out. Let's stay in touch.